Hello, happy new day. Welcome back to this session on finances, one of my favorite topics. If you are new here, thank you for dropping in for a few minutes. Hopefully, you will hear something that will motivate you to subscribe or to pass the information along to someone else. If you're an existing subscriber, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of these sessions. So, I don't want to hold it. No further ado, let's get this topic started. As we're talking about finances, what generated this conversation is as I was talking amongst a few people, and we were talking about one person was saying that they were absolutely amazed how the company that they work for, why that company did not do any layoffs during the pandemic. And I do know that was a time where some companies were working with their employees, allowing them to work remotely. I know some of that is changing now. And I told him, I said, well, for one, a lot of the strongest companies can survive the most terrible times. And what I mean is that for those companies that had probably little to no debt or little to no obligations, they really could weather the storm and not do what most companies do when they face turmoil, which is to let go of people, to lay off people. See, what I know is that's the first thing a corporation will do. See, once they look at it, one of their biggest expenses is what? Payroll. So, of course, when let's say revenue doesn't look exactly like they anticipated, or it's not going, or it's not gonna, maybe they're not gonna finish out the year exactly the way they planned. One of the first things they try to cut is which is payroll, which is their expenses. But during times of turmoil, the strongest companies can weather the storm. And I just believe that you can use it, and you could take some of these corporate strategies and use in your personal life. Because think about it, if you have little to no obligations, little to no debt, let's say for example, myself, if you've been a part of this channel, you already know I'm mortgage free, I'm debt free. That's a little to no obligations. Why I said, little obligations is just because still, even though I don't have a mortgage, I still have to pay taxes. I still pay home insurance, things of that sort, the necessary things to run my household. However, because I have one of the biggest expenses, which is my home, because I don't carry credit card balances month to month and incur interest, because, I do not owe anyone, that puts me in a position where all income that comes into my household is a profit. It's a win-win. However, what a lot of corporations face during pandemic times, or even not just pandemic times, sometimes a corporation goes through it, they face those things where their obligations are exceeding the amount of revenue that's coming in. And it's not a win-win for them, it's a lose. So how can you again use this to better yourself strategically, financially? Number one, if you're watching this and you have debt, you have to make a commitment. A commitment. It won't happen overnight, but you have to make a commitment to get out of debt. Once you've made that commitment, you have to put the plan together. You have to get your budget, you have to work it, you have to adhere to it, and you have to get out of debt. Does not matter which method that you use, whether you're using a snowball method, whether you're using the avalanche method, whether you're using the debt elimination or debt stacking method. There's so many names they call it, but what I call it is just paying off your debt one by one. Once you have done that, paid off your debt, what that does is it positions you financially to save money. And saving money is so important because statistics now say 60%, oh my goodness, 60% of the people in America are living paycheck to paycheck. How could this be? I understand inflation is at an all-time high, But these statistics have been this way for years, way before inflation. And I just believe that is due to high debt. That is due to people carrying debt from month to month. And then now they're not able to save. Why? Because all that money they pay out in debt is going towards what? Interest. Instead of the interest compounding in your savings on your investment account, it's been compounding for a lot of people towards their debt, which causes them to be stuck. It causes them to be stuck on a job that they do not like. It causes people to be stuck in a business that they no longer want to do. It causes people to become entrapped to a slave system. So if you want to weather a storm the way some corporations do, then you have to get to a point of little to no, and hopefully you're getting to the no debt. You have to get to that point. And in doing that, you just have to have a functional budget. And there's no way around it. You know, you've heard it before, you have to live below your means. And I just believe we're in a world right now that teaches us to live above your means. It teaches you that if you just have a certain income, then you just purchase. And that's not the way it should be. You honestly have to think about it. If you live that way, that puts you in a bad position financially. So the thing is, how do you live within your means? It's just adhering to a budget. Maybe you'll get to the point, one thing about me, do I have a budget? Yes, but it's part of me. So I don't even have to think about it. And that's how you have to become at one with your budget. Budgeting can no longer be a nasty word, but I know it is for a lot of people. And then lastly, I just would say, stay committed. Just stay committed. This session is really simple. Stay committed. See, most times people are one decision away from a breakthrough, but for some reason they don't stay committed to what they planned out. That commitment that I said earlier, getting out of debt, and then they find themselves now in a financial situation that they choose not to be in. So as I always say, take lessons from these successful corporations, apply them to your personal life, and go win for you and your family. Thank you for tuning in. Have a beautiful day. Hasta luego.